Commander Alina Voss stepped off the transport ramp and into the shimmering heart of Vera Sigma, the galaxy's most intense diplomatic hub. Above her, starships streaked across the sky like glowing brushstrokes on a dark canvas. Crowds of alien species moved through the massive spaceport-scaled merchants, hollering prices in metallic voices. Tall, crystalline beings gliding silently, and human traders weaving through them with hurried steps. Though the air buzzed with life, Alina felt a strange isolation settle deep inside her chest. She reminded herself of why she had come. Not for ceremony, not for negotiation theatrics, but for the desperate chance to stop a war before it began. Once a celebrated starfighter pilot who earned medals she never asked for, she had moved into diplomacy because she understood the real cost of conflict. And now, everything rested on her meeting with Prince Kael of the Zyren Dominion, a leader feared across sectors, respected for his unbreakable code of honor, yet infamous for commanding with a ruthlessness that chilled even seasoned warriors. The Hall of Concordance rose like a cathedral carved from starlight. Its walls shimmered with holographic tapestries of past treaties, and a soft gravitational hum vibrated under her boots as she entered. Kael stood, waiting in the center of the hall, armored in Zyren ceremonial plating that looked almost alive, flowing smoothly with every shift of his body. His dark gaze locked onto her, heavy with a silent challenge. "Envoy Voss," he said, his voice resonant and calm, "let us speak plainly. Peace is not given, it is bought with sacrifices. Are you prepared for that cost?" Alina held his gaze steadily. "We've paid enough already. If there's a path forward without bloodshed, we walk it, both of us." Their conversation moved slowly at first, each testing the boundaries of the other's intentions. Beneath Kael's hardened tone, she sensed something unexpected: a fatigue, a desire for something more than endless cycles of violence. But before she could press further, a new wave of diplomats filled the hall, signaling the beginning of the gala that would precede formal negotiations. That evening, the gala unfolded in a spectacle of brilliance. Floating lanterns drifted overhead, reflecting across polished floors like miniature stars. Musicians from distant worlds played instruments made of light, their melodies intertwining in haunting harmonies. Alina navigated the crowded room with practiced ease, exchanging polite nods, careful smiles. She caught glimpses of Kael from across the hallways, surrounded by his elite guards, always watching the crowd with an intensity that made him stand apart. But the moment of peace, shattered. A thunderous explosion cracked through the eastern wing, spraying shards of light and debris into the air. Then another blast followed by screams, collapsing metal, the electric snap of shield generators failing. Diplomatic guests scrambled, panicked voices rising in every direction. Through the rush of chaos, Alina saw Kael standing firm, his guards forming a protective ring around him. She pushed toward him through smoke and panicked diplomats. "We need to coordinate," she shouted over the alarms. "If we don't take control, this becomes a massacre." Kael studied her for a heartbeat, then raised his arm in a sharp gesture. His guards lowered their weapons. "Then command my soldiers as you would your own," he said. Together, they cut through the chaos, directing crowds, stabilizing wounded diplomats, issuing orders to security teams who moved with renewed focus under their joint leadership. The explosions died down, replaced by sirens and firelight flickering against shattered walls. Outside, under the ashen sky, Kael's tone turned grave. "This was not an accident. Someone seeks to end these talks before they begin. And whoever it is," Alina replied, "they knew exactly how to strike when we were most vulnerable." In that moment, both understood that the enemy was not just the looming tensions. They were dealing with a hidden threat. In the days that followed, Kael and Alina found themselves working side by side more than either had expected, coordinating search efforts, calming angry ambassadors, reviewing intelligence streams that hinted at a deeper conspiracy. For someone she had once viewed as an opposing force, Kael surprised her. He listened. He adapted. He questioned his own people's reports with a sharpness that suggested the betrayal cut deeper than he let on. One evening, after an exhausting council summit, Kael suggested a break. "Vera Sigma is more than metal and politics," he said. "Walk with me." He led her into the cultural district, a vast network of streets glowing with floating gardens, aromatic food stalls, and artisans painting with threads of energy. Children of different species laughed together near fountains that projected shifting constellations. For a moment, Alina allowed herself to breathe. Under the light of twin moons, Kael spoke of his homeworld, its violent storms that reshaped landscapes overnight, the elders who taught that strength without compassion led to destruction. Alina found herself sharing stories she rarely spoke aloud, the loneliness of command, the ache of battle scars she carried not on her skin but in her memories. "Strange," Kael murmured as they paused near a crystalline sculpture. "Our worlds claim to be so different, yet you speak of duty the way my people do." "Maybe we're not so different," she said softly. Their eyes met, and for just a moment, the weight of their responsibilities faded. 2 days later, Kael invited her to the Zyren flagship orbiting Vera Sigma. The vessel stretched across space like a metallic horizon. Zyren soldiers saluted sharply as Kael escorted her through towering corridors lined with holographic histories. He showed her the Hall of Ancestry, where relics from centuries of battles were preserved. Before an ancient armor suit, Kael's voice softened. My ancestor wore this when our world nearly perished. Every scar in this metal is a reminder survival demands unity. Alina touched the cool surface of the armor. Unity is what we're fighting for too. Their moment was cut short when urgent intelligence arrived, confirming the truth they feared: a rogue Zyren faction. Loyal, two old war doctrines, had orchestrated the Gala attack and was planning a larger assault that would appear to come from humans, a false flag operation, one that would guarantee war. At dawn, Alina confronted Kael with the evidence in a private council chamber. His face hardened, not with denial but with grief and fury. My own people, he whispered. They would burn the galaxy before letting peace take root. We can expose them, she said firmly, but we need to move before they do. Kael straightened, resolve settling into his expression. Then let us end this betrayal together. They presented the evidence to the Galactic Assembly, triggering shockwaves across the chamber. By nightfall, joint human-Zyren forces launched synchronized operations to dismantle the faction's bases. The strikes were precise, non-lethal where possible, carefully designed to avoid ideological backlash. With strategic brilliance and restraint, they captured the faction leaders alive, exposing their plans to the entire galaxy. Hours later, standing inside one of the secured facilities, Kael looked at Alina with an intensity she had not seen before. What happened today, he said quietly, was more than justice. It was the beginning of something new. For both our peoples, she replied, and for us. As weeks passed, the talks resumed with newfound clarity. Hope slowly replaced fear. When the Dawn Accord was drafted, delegations from across the galaxy gathered for the signing ceremony. Alina stood beside Kael as they placed their signatures on the glowing treaty pad. A wave of applause filled the hall, vibrant and heartfelt. Later that night, in the quiet of the council gardens, Alina paused by a fountain reflecting distant stars. When all of this settles, when our worlds move forward, what happens to us? She asked softly. Kael stepped beside her, his voice low. I once believed duty left no room for anything else. But now I see another path, one that doesn't divide who we are from what we must be. If you choose it, he added, I will walk it with you. Starlight shimmered across the water as their hands intertwined. For the first time in a long while, the galaxy didn't feel so impossibly vast.